This is a quick demo of Mindsmith, the AI native e-learning authoring tool. When you first log into Mindsmith, you're brought to this dashboard, which is a pretty standard dashboard. You'll see there are folders here up top, uncategorized lessons below. I do my management here on the side. A couple of cool things worth calling out quickly. The first is that if you're on our business or enterprise tiers, you can have team spaces. Team spaces are collaborative workspaces that you can have multiple people in. If you're on our enterprise tier, you can have multiple team spaces. So you can choose who gets access to which content based on these team spaces. Within a team space, all of the content is shared between everyone in that team, and you can work collaboratively in real time. So you can see the cursor of the person you're working with, see as they type, you can see their avatar on the film strip, all of the fun collaborative things. So you may want to get multiple people on at the same time. You may schedule a call, and within that call, maybe you jam for a little while together with everyone involved in the e-learning creation experience. And then maybe you resolve comments and then get approval at the end of the call instead of sending a file back and forth or a link or something. So it's nice to have that real-time collaborative experience. We have a lot of other settings that you can play around with. I'm not going to go too deep into them today, but one cool role that I like to call out is this viewer role. It's a totally free role when you're adding people, and the viewer can see all the content in a team space and make comments. So really helpful if you're trying to bring more stakeholders into that creation experience. A lot of other settings, things like writing style, generation settings, translation glossaries for AI translations, but we won't go too deep into that today. Today we'll be creating some content. So what I'll do is click this big button here in the top right, create, and I'll click lesson. So in Mindsmith, you can create a lesson or a course. A lesson is going to be like a 5 to 45 minute learning experience. I would say the lesson is the fundamental unit of measurement in Mindsmith. And then a course is a collection of lessons. So a course might be an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, really depending on what you're trying to do. But today we'll do a lesson. I'm also going to build with our new Mindsmith agent. The agent is an end-to-end agent that we've just given tons of raw intelligence and raw power to. So you can think of it really as an instructional design coworker. And we'll highlight some things that it can do here throughout this demo. But I also encourage you to play around and test its limits. It's actually very powerful, and it's really good at overcoming problems. So before we jump into actually building a piece of content, I want to highlight some things that it can do. One really cool thing that I love to show people is that you can prompt Mindsmith for individual documents. So you may say, I have a PowerPoint and I want the AI to follow the structure and flow and prioritize the content in the PowerPoint. So that's kind of the base of the lesson. But I also have a video associated with that PowerPoint, and I want the AI to watch the video, grab clips where it feels like it's relevant, and then bring those clips into relevant places in the lesson. And then you may say, I also have a standard operating procedure that's really big, and I'm not sure if there's anything relevant in it. So I want you as the AI to look through that standard operating procedure, and if there's anything relevant, I want you to tell me about it, but don't include it in the lesson. And then I can decide whether we include it into the lesson. So you can be very specific about how the AI is interpreting each of the documents that you've uploaded. And then we'll show you some of the other cool stuff throughout this demo today. So today we'll be running a lesson on the fundamentals of communication. So I'm going to say create a lesson on effective communication, covering active listening, giving and receiving feedback, written communication best practices, handling difficult conversations. Tell me exactly what you're referencing from the document in quotes in the storyboard for each concept you're teaching and where in the document it's coming from. Run any learning objectives you generate by me. So this is just a general prompt. You can see that there's not a ton of context here, but we'll see kind of how the AI interprets this. We also have these recipes that you can choose from as well. Recipes are really cool. They're basically a way that you've told the AI how to overcome a certain problem or how to solve a certain task. So you can see these are some pre-built ones that we have. Micro-learning says, okay, I want you to focus on shorter pages, teaching one concept at a time, some of the micro-learning principles. Convert a document is saying, I want you to keep the content from the document the same, but you can present it in a more engaging way. Verbatim is like, don't change how it's presented at all. These are just recipes that we've built, but you can build your own recipes. So you may say, this is how in our organization we like to think about microlearning. Or you may say, I want to, like if you are working with a subject matter expert, I want you to ask lots of questions and dig really deep and make sure that you're gathering enough context from them. I like to do this needs analysis one because it'll ask a lot more questions and dig a little bit deeper. So you can create these recipes yourself, or you can use some of our pre-built recipes. Okay, so you can attach your documents. We already attached a document here. You can give it learning objectives, writing style, things like that. We have some pre-built options down here as well. Okay, so let's generate the lesson, see what happens. Okay, it's excavating, navigating, fermenting. It's thinking about this prompt that I gave it. Okay, happy to help. Let's create a comprehensive lesson on effective communication. Since you want me to reference specific content from your document, let me start by understanding your needs better. Who's the target audience? Okay, so it's like, okay, you gave me like 4 sentences here, but I'm gonna need a little more context if we want this learning to be relevant. So, and all of this is generated like on the fly in real time. Okay, who's the target audience? We'll say managers and team leads. What level of communication experience should we assume they have? Maybe we'll say some experience. How long should they spend completing this lesson? We'll say 20 to 30 minutes. What type of assessment or practice? How about we say reflection questions, practice? So I'm going to say all of them, actually. You mentioned 4 topics. Should any receive more emphasis than the others? I'm going to say equal emphasis on all 4. So we're just kind of, the AI is gathering some more context from us. Okay, thank you for those detailed answers. It gives me a clear picture. Now it's going to look through my document. So it's like, okay, it gave me this prompt. I've gathered some context. Now let's make sure that everything's aligned with the document. And so, okay, it's reviewed your document. Let me share what I found. It gave me a document analysis. Okay, it's giving me some quotes here that I asked for. Okay, my recommendation. Okay, it's saying the document provides excellent foundational theory that it can anchor to. However, it'll need to anchor each topic and expand with practical applications. So it's giving me some learning objectives. Okay, apply active listening techniques. Okay, I like these. Do these align with what you want? I'm going to say yes. They align nicely. And then we'll see what it says to that. So now it's whittling. Alchemizing. Okay, now it's going to build the storyboard. So it's going to take my content and then create a storyboard. So the storyboard is a really nice in-between step where we've given the AI context, it's kind of gathered some context, and now it's going to give a description of every single page in the lesson. So you can see it generated a title, it gave me a description of the lesson, it generated some learning objectives, and then it's going to give me, again, this description of every page. The storyboard is a really nice in-between step where you can spend some time in making sure that your vision is aligned with the AI before it actually generates the content. We want to make sure that in that generation phase that we're, 95, 96, as close as we can get to what you're hoping to get out of the AI. So it's going to spend some time thinking about this context and then generate the storyboard here. Let's give it a moment. Okay, it generated the storyboard. You can see it gave me a description of every single page, and we also asked it to tell us the content from the document that it's referencing, and then it's also telling us what it's going to do on the page. You'll notice it's also referencing learning objectives for each of these pages. So you can see like page 2 is going to prioritize learning objective 1, and it's going to go through these different learning objectives as it's creating this content. Again, this is the same, like I said, it's the same agent, so I can chat with it here. I could say, I'd like to see more videos in this lesson. Okay, we'll see what it says to that. It's going to spend some time whittling, thinking about what we're trying to do here. Okay, great idea. Let me clarify what you have in mind. So it's like you asked for more videos, but what does that mean? What kind of videos do you want? I have a tool that can do AI presenter videos, or you can give me some clips, or we can do both. I'm going to say just AI presenter videos. Where should they appear in the lesson? So you want videos, but how do you want them added? Just as an introduction, throughout the whole lesson, before scenarios. I'm going to say let's do introduction and before scenarios. We want to model behavior first, I guess. Okay, so now it's going to actually build the lesson. Okay, I'll go through and spend some time building the lesson. So now it's going to generate each page one at a time, so it'll jump us into the Mindsmith editor. You can see also with every prompt that you give the AI, it's going to create a to-do list. The to-do list really helps the AI stay on topic, but you can, of course, make sure that the to-do list is correct. You could even say, run any to-do list by me before you generate the content. And maybe you want to make that a skill. So you may say you may add the skill that says anytime you do a to-do list, run it by me, because this is how you should, operate in this scenario. Okay, so it's starting to generate the content. You see it gave us the first page. It generated that AI video that we asked it to. It's pulling in, looks like it brought in this is like a tab tile, an AI video. It gave me a hero header. So you can see that, and then it's going to generate each of these pages one at a time. Some cool things worth calling out quickly about the authoring tool itself. You'll notice every element in Mindsmith gets a tile, and these tiles you can rearrange and resize according to your needs. So it's really flexible from a design perspective. I could bring this tile down. Maybe I want to give it a little bit more space. Maybe I want to make this header a little bit smaller. So we have a lot of like design flexibility just here in the authoring tool. And then of course, if you want to edit something manually, you can just jump in and, start editing here natively in each of the tiles. Of course, every tile is going to have its own advanced settings. That's here under options. So you can jump in. And so like a text tile is going to have options related to text and things like that. It's generating the content. We'll show you some of the different tile types. So we have tons of different tile types, things, different ways to present text, lists and notes and line breaks and spacers and timelines, different ways to do media, image comparisons, carousel video, audio, file downloads, custom code if you want to present like a custom code, embedding, all sorts of assessment and question options. Short answer uses AI to grade the short answer, ranking, matching, lots of interactives. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that. So a ton of different options, charts, hot buttons, all the different tiles you would need. Looks like it generated a video here. I'll show you what that looks like. So in Mindsmith, the AI will create these different videos. It'll give you an avatar. We integrate with HeyGen. It'll give you some text on a page. It will create different scenes. Here it looks like it only created one scene, but it gives me this transcript here on the right. I can switch out the avatar, change the voice, do any of that stuff, edit these scenes as I feel like it's necessary. Okay, let's also, did it generate any scenarios yet? It looks like it hasn't generated a scenario. So I'm just going to add a blank scenario. Oh, there's one, just generated one. Okay, so the scenarios, you can see the AI generated this branching scenario where learners go down different paths depending on the options that they choose. So you can see it created this really nice branching scenario. We call this a canvas here where you can kind of visualize the different paths, and we call each of these moments in the canvas a node. And you can actually in Mindsmith add a bunch of different nodes. So I could create like an explore node where I can upload like a custom image onto Mindsmith, and I can say, okay, when the learner clicks here, maybe it's a screenshot of a software. Maybe I say when they click here, I want to take them to a video. And then at the end of the video, I want to route them back to this image. And then when they click here, I want to take them to like a totally different video. And then at the end of that video, I want to route them to this video or something. So you can create these more interesting, immersive, engaging learning experiences here in Mindsmith. We're also hooking this system up to the agent, which is really exciting. So the agent will be able to take screenshots of your videos and turn like screen recordings of softwares into like real simulations, interactive simulations with boundary boxes and text on the screen and all sorts of fun stuff. So all of that's coming down the line, but you can see it's a very intuitive builder where you can jump in and edit these branching scenarios. Okay, the other one I want to highlight really quickly is the conversation tile. So in Mindsmith, you can create real-time conversation tiles. So this is an AI conversation that the learner will have. So I could do like a sales objection handling, where you can see we give all sorts of fields where you can give character personality, situation, you can give it an agenda, you can give the AI instructions, you can give it grading instructions if you want it to be a graded experience. You can give it skills to demonstrate, AI rules, you can give it example conversations, other custom prompting, and these are real-time conversations that that the learner is having. So it sort of takes the interactivity up a notch, really puts the learner into more of an application point of view as they're going through this learning experience. The nice thing about this is that it's within the learning experience, and this AI has the context of all the rest of the stuff you've built. So I could even go into the agent, and I could say it's still generating for this lesson, but I could say, I want you to tailor this role play to my company. Here's a document about our values or whatever. And the AI will, can edit the conversation itself, the fields here. And then the learner goes through this real-time conversation piece. Okay, so that's the authoring tool. That's the agent. You can see I'm going to go ahead and pause this. The AI agent continues throughout, so I can tell it anything. Another common use case for this agent is I need to make updates. Maybe I upload a new document and I say, based on this new document, I want you to tell me what I should update about this lesson, and then go out and make the changes. And it'll look through the document, look through the lesson. It'll say, okay, I've identified these 10 things that I think you should update. Do you want me to go out and do it? And then it'll go and make the updates. The other cool thing, just worth shouting out quickly about Mindsmith, we invented this thing called Dynamic SCORM. Dynamic SCORM, for those who are using SCORM as their sharing mechanism, is basically an auto-updating SCORM file. So we're communicating with the file that sits on your LMS, which means if you change something in Mindsmith, we can have it update in the learning management system automatically, or you can stage your changes and publish them all at once. But it's a much more dynamic experience instead of having to delete, change, download, upload. The other cool thing is you can manage language versions natively in Mindsmith. So I could create like the Chinese version. I click Add Translations. We'll translate it for you using DeepL, which is an AI translation service. You jump in, make any changes you need to make, and then you upload just one file, one SCORM file to the LMS, and the file itself will read the device language of the learner and give them the version that matches their device language. So if their phone's in Chinese and I've created the Chinese version, it will give them the Chinese version automatically. They can still like toggle between the different versions, but it saves a ton of headache of like managing 15 different files that are all tracked separately and you have to choose who gets which one. We just do it easily natively in Mindsmith. We can also track things that don't typically get tracked in SCORM. So if you want to do a deep dive into engagement analytics, where people are dropping off in a lesson, how they're performing on individual assessment questions, we'll hook this also up to our AI agent so we can run data analysis natively in the AI agent. But you can do that deeper dive. These are analytics that, again, you wouldn't normally get with SCORM. We have commenting system. We have theming that has all the different options that you would need. We have version history, a lot of settings around grading and learning and things. But for the most part, you'll just click share. You'll enable access or you won't, and then you'll download the SCORM package or do XAPI or whatever you need to do, and then upload to your learning management system and you're good to go. So that was a demo of Mindsmith. Looking forward to see what you build, what you create, and how you push the limits of the Mindsmith end-to-end AI agent. Thanks.